She texted me, "Good night, love you," at 10:43 p.m., right as I was stepping into the plant. I remember because I was sliding on my gloves, and the message lit up my screen like a warm breath in the cold silence of the locker room. I tapped a quick heart back and stuffed the phone in my locker. 12-hour shift. Double pay. Saturday night. I was doing this for us. For her. For the house. The future. All of it. By 4:16 a.m., the system crashed. Some glitch in the line. The manager called it for the night and let us go early. I didn't tell her. I figured, surprise her with breakfast. Pick up those pastries she liked, the almond ones, and maybe we could have coffee on the porch before the sun came up. The first chill of fall had just started creeping in, and I thought, she'll love that. You think you know someone so deeply that planning small moments for them makes you feel closer, like they're right there inside your head. But when I opened the front door, something felt off. No light in the hallway. No quiet hum of the TV from the bedroom. No scent of her shampoo from the bathroom, the way it always lingered in the air like a ghost of her. I dropped the bag of pastries on the counter and called out, soft at first, then again, louder. Nothing. The bedroom door was wide open, the bed perfectly made. Her charger was gone. Her toothbrush. Half the closet. I blinked hard. Walked into the kitchen. The coffee mug she always used wasn't in the sink like usual. I opened the drawer by the fridge. The folder with our documents, mortgage, insurance, birth certificates, gone. My chest went cold. My hand went number than I'd ever felt before, fingers locking on the handle like it didn't belong to me. There was no note, no message, nothing. Just her wedding ring sitting neatly on the edge of the sink, like a punctuation mark. Period. End of sentence. I sat down right there on the kitchen floor, back against the cabinet, just breathing in shallow little puffs, trying to stop my brain from spiraling. Because no matter how hard I tried, no matter how many logical explanations I threw at myself, emergency, trip, some misunderstanding, I knew in that moment, with a sick weight pressing into my ribs, that she wasn't coming back. And the worst part? I didn't even know who to be mad at yet. There was no villain, no fight, no warning, just silence, a full erasure. It was like she'd been planning this for months, and I'd been so stupidly in love, so secure in our routine, that I never once saw her folding the escape map behind my back. I didn't sleep. I sat on that cold tile floor for hours until the sun came up and lit the living room in gold. And when it did, something shifted. Not just confusion anymore. Not panic. Not heartbreak. No, this was anger. Burning, pure anger. Because something about the way she left, the precision of it, the silence, the cowardice of vanishing like I didn't deserve even a damn goodbye, it told me everything I needed to know. She didn't just walk out. She ran from something. And I was going to find out exactly what and who she ran to. Part 2. Everything she said was a script. I didn't go to work the next day. I didn't shower. I didn't answer my phone. I just sat at the kitchen table staring at the ring by the sink, my hands flat against the wood like I was holding myself together. I opened our shared laptop, the one she always used for bills and online shopping, and I didn't even know what I was looking for. Just anything. Some clue. A trail. A receipt. A goddamn breadcrumb. I started with email. Nothing obvious, nothing scandalous, anyway. But then I remembered she had a second Gmail account, one she used for online orders to avoid spam in her main inbox. I'd seen her flip to it once, casually years ago. She didn't know I'd memorized the address. The recovery questions were easy. I'd set them up when we created the account. Name of her first pet. City she was born in. The band we saw on our first concert date. Click, click, click. I was in. And there it was. A confirmation email from a hotel reservation 3 weeks prior. Not in our city. Not even in our state. A weekend getaway for two. King suite, spa package, champagne service on arrival. My heart dropped into my stomach like a stone. The name on the reservation? Not mine. The billing address? Mine. She'd used my card. My goddamn card. I felt a ringing in my ears. That dizzy, nausea-inducing surge of adrenaline where your body doesn't know whether to cry or scream. I scrolled through her inbox, my hands shaking so badly I kept clicking the wrong keys. Messages from a guy named Brandon. No last name, just Brandon. Subject lines like, "Can't wait to see you again," and "Last weekend was amazing." Inside the emails were photos, not nude, but intimate. Candid. His hand on her thigh in a car, her legs in a pool, wrapped around him. She'd been with him while I was working nights, saving for our future. The weekends I thought she was visiting her cousin, she was with him. And the worst part wasn't even the cheating. It was how easy she made it all look. Like she'd practiced it. Like everything she ever said to me had been a script she was reading from memory. That's when I knew. This wasn't a random act. This wasn't impulsive or emotional or some one-time slip of weakness. This was orchestrated. Cold, clinical, methodical. She'd been building this exit for months, maybe longer, while letting me carry the weight of everything, thinking I was doing it for us. She was never going to tell me. She was never going to say sorry. She wanted a clean break. No confrontation, no consequences. And something inside me snapped. I'm not proud of the scream that came out of me, raw and hollow like something dying. I punched the wall, then another. I fell to the floor and curled up like a goddamn kid, ashamed of the noises I was making but unable to stop. But after that storm, when I finally pulled myself off the floor, what rose in its place wasn't sadness. It wasn't fear. It was clarity. She didn't give me closure. She left me with questions, dead, and a hole where a life used to be. And if I knew her, and God, did I know her, she'd already painted herself as the victim to this Brandon guy. I could hear it now. He was never around. I felt so alone. I didn't feel loved anymore. A perfect, quiet little sob story that made her look like the poor, neglected wife who found happiness again. Well, I was going to let her have her new life. I was going to let her live in her fantasy. And then, I was going to pull the curtain back in front of everyone. The first thing I did was nothing. And that was harder than it sounds. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I didn't confront her or Brandon. I didn't scream on Facebook or out her to her friends or post receipts like some people do in the heat of it. I wanted to. I wanted to drag her ass through the digital dirt right then and there. But I kept hearing my dad's voice in the back of my head. The one thing he ever said that stuck. Don't swing first. Let him lean in. Then break their jaw. So I let her lean. I waited. Let her think I was broken. Let her think she got away clean. While she was off with Brandon, playing house, planning her fresh little future, I started collecting. Quietly, patiently. I made copies of the emails, screenshots, forwarded them to a dummy account she didn't know about. Hotel reservations, conversations. I downloaded photos, not to shame her with them, but to prove context. Dates, times, her location. I knew what I was building wasn't for me. It was for other people. The ones she hadn't lied to yet. Next, I went through the finances. She'd drained one of our joint accounts, but the other was still active. I printed everything. Matched withdrawals to dates she claimed to be out with friends or at her cousin's. Tracked how often she used my card. Every dollar she spent without my consent. Spa visits, gas, dinners, all logged. I created a folder labeled evidence. Like it was a damn courtroom file. Because part of me wanted this to go legal, but a bigger part wanted it to go loud. Then came the social side. I logged into her Facebook. She'd left it open on the laptop browser, bless her heart. I didn't post anything, obviously, but I read her messages. She hadn't just lied to me. She'd told her friends I was cold, barely home, that she felt trapped. The way she spun it, I was the absentee partner. The villain, and he was her escape, the one who made her feel alive again. The twist? Her friends were buying it, even the ones I'd known longer than her. I found one thread where she wrote, "He's going to be devastated, but he'll move on. He always does." That one stuck with me, because it was the smugness, the confidence that she could rewrite the story and no one would question her. That's when I decided I wouldn't fight her story. I'd show everyone the real one. I didn't want to ruin her life. I wanted to reveal it. And when you want a reveal to land, you need an audience. So I got to work. First, I called her cousin, the one she always claimed to be visiting. Slipped into the conversation easy, like I was checking in. And when I said, "She wasn't at your place the weekend of September 9th, right?" There was this pause, this tiny crack of confusion, and then a half lie. "I think she was, maybe Friday night." I didn't push. I just said, "Thought so," and hung up. That was enough. She was covering too, which meant the net was wider than I thought. Fine. So I reached out to someone I hadn't talked to in a while, her ex-best friend, Rachel. They'd fallen out over some stupid drama years ago, but Rachel and I had always gotten along. I knew she was still bitter. I just didn't realize how bitter until I told her what happened. She didn't just believe me. She offered names. She told me about a guy before Brandon, too. One she thought was just a flirty coworker. That's when it clicked. Brandon wasn't the first, just the last one before she ran. I don't remember eating much that week. I didn't cry again. I didn't drink or lash out or spiral. I was calm, focused, because now I had everything I needed. Not just facts, narrative. I knew the real story, and I knew how to tell it. And I knew exactly when. We had an anniversary coming up. Our would-have-been anniversary. Every year, we used to host a little dinner with our close friends. Nothing fancy, just food, drinks, shared memories. She loved it. Loved being the center of attention. The hostess. The glowing wife in the warm light of the dining room. This year, obviously, there would be no party. But I made sure people still gathered. Not in person, online. And I made sure they watched. The night before what would have been our 6th anniversary, I set it all up. I didn't sleep. I didn't pace. I wasn't nervous. I was calm in a way that felt foreign, like everything in me had gone quiet to make room for one single thought. Let them see her for who she really is. Not out of spite. Not for pity. But for truth. Because she didn't just lie to me. She rewrote the whole damn story and left me buried in the last chapter. The key was making it look like nothing was happening. No warning shots. No social media posts. No cryptic "watch this space." Just silence. And then at 6 p.m. sharp, the exact time we'd normally be welcoming guests through our front door, I posted a video to Facebook. But not to my wall. I posted it to a private group. One I had quietly made in the days leading up. For those who knew us, and I added every mutual friend, family member, her co-workers, even her sister. The people she'd spun the story to. The people who had probably wondered why I'd gone so quiet. The video started simple. Black screen. My voice. If you're watching this, it means you knew us. Or you thought you did. I won't ask you to take sides. I won't ask for sympathy. I'm not here to make drama. I'm here to tell the truth, the whole thing. Because I lost my wife, and it turns out, she was never really mine to begin with. Then came the photos, the emails, the hotel reservations, the dates, overlaid with time stamps and brief narration. No yelling, no blaming, just facts. Like a documentary. The tone wasn't angry, it was surgical. I wasn't trying to humiliate her. I was cutting the rope she'd used to tie herself to this fantasy version of events. Midway through the video, I played audio, just a short clip of her talking to Brandon. One of the voicemails from when she thought I was at work. She was giggling, saying she'd finally found a man who didn't make her feel like a housemaid. She called me safe. Called him real. At the end of the video, I came back on screen. Just me, sitting at our kitchen table. The same place I'd found her ring. I looked like hell, but I looked honest. I'm not here to ruin her life. I'm here because she already ruined mine, and she did it quietly. She told her side first. Now this is mine. Do what you want with it. Just don't tell me you didn't know. I hit publish, and then I turned off my phone. I didn't want to see the fallout right away. I didn't want the dopamine rush or the schadenfreude. I wanted space. Silence. I wanted her to feel what I felt, the absence. The control she'd had over the narrative was gone now. No more hiding behind excuses and half-truths. No more he wasn't around. Now, The people who loved her had the full picture. An hour later, my phone was vibrating off the table. I let it shake like something alive, desperate to spill whatever was breaking on the other side of the screen. When I finally picked it up, the notifications were endless. Texts from friends, missed calls from her mother. Her boss had sent me an email asking for confirmation about the dates, because apparently she'd used company travel reimbursement for one of her getaways. But the real explosion? That came from Rachel. She sent me screenshots, messages from group chats lighting up like wildfire. People were turning. The silence that had protected her all this time was shattering in real time. One friend wrote, "I defended her. I feel so stupid." Another said, "She told me he was abusive. Jesus." The crown jewel? A message from her sister. "I don't even know who she is anymore. I'm so sorry. For everything." Then came her. Finally, after all that time, after all the months of silence, I got the first message from her since she vanished. It came in at 9:41 p.m. Just 3 words. "What did you do?" Not a question. An accusation. Like I was the one who blew everything up. I stared at it. I let it sit there. Then I typed. I told the truth. And that was it. No more messages. No follow-up. Just the silence she had once weaponized, now turned back on her. But I wasn't done. The next day, I sent the folder of financial records to a lawyer. Told them everything. The shared account, the stolen funds, the fraudulent use of my credit card. They said I had a solid case. I didn't want jail. I wanted reimbursement. I wanted her to pay me back every cent she spent playing house with someone else. And she did. Eventually, her lawyer reached out. We settled. Quietly. But not before Brandon found out. Turns out, he didn't know the full story either. She'd told him we were separated but still living together. When he saw the video, he dumped her. Cold. Packed up and moved out of the apartment they'd just signed a lease on. Told her, "If you could do that to him, you'd do it to me." Boom. The fantasy didn't just fall apart. It imploded. The dust didn't settle. It resettled, differently, heavier, in places I didn't expect. After the video went viral in our small circle, things changed fast. There were those who reached out with sympathy, support, even guilt for believing her side without asking questions. A few old friends came back into my life, quietly. Others didn't, and I didn't chase them. Let the silence speak. She tried to spin it. Tried to reach out to people and say I was vindictive, that I went nuclear, that I made her feel unsafe. But by then, the receipts had spoken. It's hard to argue when the paper trail tells a cleaner truth than your mouth ever could. As for Brandon, he didn't just leave her. He blocked her on everything. I heard from Rachel that he told mutual friends, "She's poison." I walked into it blind. He'd even tried to message me once, some weird mix of apology and "I didn't know." I never responded. What would I say? Congratulations on finding out you're not special? In the weeks that followed, she tried reaching out again. Longer messages this time. First it was anger. Then it was pleading. Then the regret started seeping in. She said she missed the version of us that used to laugh at stupid shows together. Said she couldn't believe how fast things got out of hand. I read every word. Didn't reply. Because what was I supposed to say? That I missed her too? That I forgave her? No. She didn't deserve my rage. Not anymore. She didn't even deserve my closure. She made her choice. Not just to leave, but to lie her way out, to rewrite the story, to cast me as the background character in my own life. So I let the story end. The money came back in waves, settlement payments every month. Every time I saw the deposit hit, it felt less like revenge and more like rent. Like she was paying to live in the wreckage she left behind. I sold the house 3 months later. Too many ghosts in it. Too many late nights where I'd look over at the kitchen and see her leaning against the counter, laughing at some dumb joke. Memory is cruel that way. It doesn't ask permission. I moved across town. Started fresh. Nothing dramatic, just quieter. I went back to work. Started fixing the parts of my life that had nothing to do with her. Learned how to cook more than eggs and takeout. I even started running again. Not because I needed to get in shape, because I needed to feel like I was moving forward, literally. People ask if it felt good. The revenge. Yes, it did, but not in the fireworks kind of way. Not like a movie. It didn't end with her crying in the rain and me walking away in slow motion. It ended with truth. And that's the part no one tells you is satisfying. The stillness that comes after clarity. The part where you no longer have to wonder if you were crazy, if you missed something, if you weren't enough. You were enough. They just didn't know what to do with enough. And when they walk away from that, you let them. But when they lie about it, you make sure the world sees them clearly. No screaming, no fists, just the truth. Plain and sharp and impossible to outrun. She built a fire. I didn't start one of my own. I just let hers burn until there was nothing left. And then I walked away.